Happy.
Good morning. Buenos dias. Buenos dias.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Greetings, greetings. Happy Shamanic Sundays.
Oh,
Good to see everybody. Thank you for being here. Just going to check our technical, make sure everything's working. It looks like we are good. All right. Well, as we do with every Shamanic Sundays, we like to first say thank you again for being here. I think with all of the crazy things happening in the world, one of the most important things we can do is just keep showing up for each other, showing up for ourselves, for the planet. So thank you all so much for being here this morning and starting in a spirit of sacred reciprocity, which is very key to the indigenous traditions and shamanic teachings that you were so grateful to be blessed with, Poppy, and then are your mentors who became many of my mentors. And so would you start us off with a little prayer with all that rambling to start?
that's a beautiful start. Yeah. Well, you thanked everybody for being here. And so I want to thank you, great spirit of the universe, creative wisdom power of the universe, for giving us this breath of life on this day. You're the giver. You're the manifester of all life. It's invisible wisdom power that underlies all that we see, whatever we want to call that. And it's seeking to grow us into greater understanding and awareness of who we are and what we are and why we're here. And so from that place of opening and deepening and expanding our awareness band to recognize our sacred unity, gratitude to the ancestors of our lives, gratitude to the ancestor spirits of the land we're living on, the indigenous people around the world struggling to survive, and for all people undergoing the horrors of violence. Prayers for peace of our hearts and minds and spirits, and finding peaceful ways of resolving conflict that address the real needs that, in so doing, help create win-win situations for all. And that's what we have the potential to do. And like you say, Christian, throwing up. We might have to throw up stuff we need to get rid of. In fact, we do. We got to throw it up, get rid of, whatever thoughts and energies and beliefs and identities get in the way of waking up and wising up and living love now, so we can be channels for that kind of energy that the world needs through our joining here today. And may it be so, extending outward. Oh, Pomprios, thank you. All right.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Um, before I forget, because I keep forgetting, when we get to the visualization part of today, one of the, I have a request about the visualization for our community, because one of the gifts that Nicole and I felt growing up as your daughters was the way you would guide us in visualizations. And you would often, like literally, it felt like you were walking us into some sacred room. You know, you really walked us into the visualization. Um, and so I was going to ask if for today's visualization, you could keep that in mind and imagine that we're all some of your grandchildren, your children, your community members out there learning from you, and guide us into the visualization the way you did when we were kids. Good morning, Marcia and Roger. Good to see all you out there, and Robin. Love knowing where you all are coming from, so thank you. So we didn't actually get any questions this week, but I have a question that has come up often, and it's in regard to yesterday. You were meeting with a fellow shamanic medicine teacher, and we were talking about how the interest in shamanic practices and psychedelics has shifted so much. When we were kids, another reverie was or remembrance was how, like, you didn't talk about this stuff out in public. Like, it was very private. That was like the instructions that we were raised with, and there's still, the confidentiality and all that is extremely important. But gosh, ayahuasca has been on the cover of, I think, GQ and the New York Times and Vanity Fair. It's like everywhere, right? And And Nicole and I often talk about the sort of pop-up shamans that, you take a 6-week course and then you do a plant medicine ceremony. And on one hand, I think it's like part of us moving forward and the evolutionary pressures. We're looking for deeper, more meaningful, more sustainable answers, hence the interest in this, which is great. The concern is safety, both physical and social, emotional, psychological, spiritual. And so I thought it could be helpful for you to talk about that today. Like, what are some like practical and then spiritual practices when one is going into any sort of kind of altered state situation, but particularly when you're trying to open different doorways through shamanic practice, be it, any type of ceremony, plant medicine or otherwise.
So you're asking for input around someone's about to enter into some altered state experience. It might be with psychedelic plants. It might be with meditation or drumming or dancing or whomever,
Mm-hmm.
swimming, whatever the mechanism, deliberately holding intention to open the doorways of consciousness to a wider expanse of awareness. And given that intention, what are some good things to be to be aware of going in? I get
That
that.
is, yeah, that's the question. And just to broaden it, I mean, that's the question I'm asking you to answer, please, very specifically. But I would posit that it's the same concepts are applicable to a lot of situations that we go into, that may have some feeling of being threatening or scary or, nerve-wracking, intimidating, um, you know, so I think it's got practical application beyond quote unquote just going into ceremony.
Yeah, I think it has application going into life, period, like you
Yeah.
said. Uh, in the world we're living in today, it's pretty hard to avoid a bombardment of the news that's happening around the world, be it from climate catastrophes to increasing in severity and social unrest and violence and really the kind of dissolving away, somewhat painfully, of a lot of the institutions that we've been running our lives trying to meet our needs through that aren't working, and they're falling apart. It's pretty hard to find one that's working in the United States anyway. They're all kind
Yeah.
of boring. So it's pretty hard to avoid just waking up and not getting bombarded of stress-inducing stimuli. Let's put it that way. So that's a given. And so when consciously entering an activity that's going to open your awareness and consciousness, and just waking up in life, just waking up with this day. Not everybody went to sleep last night, got up this morning, and the very fact that we're alive means that creative power of the universe wants us here, believes in us, gives us life, and sustains our lives with each breath, and also with what I call the angels of protection, the angels of protection, taking care of us, and which needs to grow stronger by all of us learning what can we do to heal the wounds of violence within us and in our culture and within our institutions. And that's an opportunity that is there for us, just being alive and waking up each day, whatever interaction we're having. I'm remembering many years ago in a Native American church ceremony up in Covelo with an elder leading the ceremony. Native American church ceremonies work with the peyote medicine, which is what the Huichol people work with. And the realization came to me in that ceremony that every interaction I have on a physical plane, in my mind, in my imagination, every interaction I have, every person I meet with, is the opportunity for it to be a healing interaction. And totally not dependent on what the other person does or doesn't do. Every interaction I have has the potential to be a healing interaction. So what does that mean? What makes it for a healing interaction? Everything starts with intention. Everything starts with intention. So if we wake up and with gratitude for the gift of life on a new day and the opportunity of this new day to make conscious choice about what we put our attention into, if we hold an intention to open our awareness to wisdom guidance that's deeper than our ego, based on our ego identity or our ego wants or desires. But if we open our awareness, if we hold an intention to, there's more to me than my ego. There's more to me than my ego identity and its stories. And there's more to me than my physical body and its stories. There's more to me. There's a deeper part of me that's connected with the universe that existed before this portion of energy came into the physical container of my physical body, identified as who I am within my ego. There's way much more. I'm connected to that infinite creative wisdom power of the universe. We're all connected to that, and we're unified in an interwoven web of oneness. And what we do, what we think, what we say vibrates the web because we're all connected. So we all make a difference. So to me, the importance of the best steps we can take to prepare ourselves when we're given a new day to live, and choices about how to live it in the challenges of these times and in the challenges of our personal lives, whatever they might be, mental, emotional, physical, relationship, whatever they might be, to hold an intention of taking responsibility, skillful responsibility for the truth, the fact that I have, if I'm conscious and I choose that as an intention, the ability to create a response to whatever the triggering stimuli is, be it internal or external in the field. I have the ability, we have the ability through our connection to the creative wisdom power of the universe, deeper than our ego, to be able to create a relationship, a response to whatever it is that's triggered in us by the stimuli, internal or external. We have the ability to create a conscious relationship to it, a skillful conscious relationship to it. So whatever is triggered, be it fear, anxiety, judgment, depression, anger, constriction, inflammation, whatever it might be, the operating question is not the stimuli or not our response to the stimuli that was triggered reactively, but now in consciousness, given the truth of what all of that is, how can I shift out of being victim to it, and how can I co-create with spirit, with that breath that comes in with the life force, each intake of oxygen? How can I co-create with that creative power, the experience I want to have? And what's the experience I want to have? And each of us has to answer that for ourselves, of course, because we're the ones who are going to experience the consequences of the choices of what we put our attention into. So if I face the fact of truth that this day that I'm given, there's no guarantee I'll have tomorrow. May it be so, we all do, but we don't know. And many of our relatives in Palestine and those places around the world are having that gift taken away from them in a horrible way, in Ukraine and other places. And we're not here by accident at these challenging times, because we all have the ability to create a response to all of it in a way that opens the doorway to bring through more healing and more light and more love and more peace, and helps us access the wisdom consciousness of the universe that knows how to create and maintain a universe, and humble ourselves to attune ourselves, to connect our awareness and attune and commune with that wisdom power of the universe, asking for whatever it is we need to keep going in a good way: strength, faith, confidence, compassion, tenderness, courage, whatever it is we need to see that flowing into us with the breath and empowering us to show up for the opportunities given and being alive in a day, to recognize that every interaction we have has the potential to be healing. And it's not based on what the other person does or doesn't do. It's based entirely on how we interact in that situation. And the more of us that hold the intention to be a channel for healing, light, and love, and justice in the world, and actualizing our highest potentials. The truth is, we all have everything we need with Spirit's help to be able to create a healthy and just and peaceful, harmonious, beautifully diverse, win-win world for all people, all animals, plants, and for the creative life forces on Mother Earth and the cosmos that give us these gifts of creation and the opportunity to be alive in it, to wake up and wise up and live love now. So holding the intention to whatever happens, how can I use it to wake? How can I use it to wise up? And how can I use it to live love now? Is going to enrich our lives, and the energy coming out of us into the field is going to be very different than if it's hearts closed, constricted with fear, depression, judgment. So may our joining here today, and all who listen to this, and those you touch, and use this energy of our joining our hearts, minds, and spirits to polish up our stardust and honor the truth that we're sacred, worthy, luminous beings. We are loved by the powers of the universe. We are love, and our love is for giving and receiving. Wake up, wise up, live love now. Oh,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
That's all good stuff. And I want to dig in a little bit deeper, because I remember growing up, I was taught, make sure you're learning from your elders, right? And you are an elder now to a lot of us. So
How did that happen?
I don't know. It's so weird. But I just realized, well, yeah, anyways, time is a weird thing, but here we are. And grateful for that. And I want to really dig in with you, like on some specific safety things, like thinking of you being a mentor, not just to the folks on Shamanic Sundays here today with us, but those that may listen in the future on your YouTube channel, like literal practical safety things from a tactical kind of perspective. If you could talk a little bit about that.
Well, one word that comes up for me is humility.
Mm-hmm.
Importance of being humble, going into any situation. Beware ego's penchants for thinking it's right. Its thoughts and feelings and perceptions and beliefs are totally right, and you know what's best for the person or the situation. So humility to recognize that there's a greater wisdom power always available to us. And excuse me. Take a moment to just be breathed consciously, let my throat smooth out. Haven't had anything to drink this morning or eat. So breathing in the elixir of Spirit's love flowing in.
Well, that means you're not listening to your daughters, because we have instructed you how important, especially as you've gotten older, that is important you start the day with water and a little something to eat.
That's true, absolutely. And I try to do that, but a little behind the clock this morning. And first thing, even before feeding my body, is gratitude prayers.
Yes.
That's what I was out.
All right. That's a good excuse.
And every now and then I have to disobey my daughters just to keep them in their place.
Yeah.
So they stay humble. Yeah. And I'm always working on humility. So just that humility to know that the Great Spirit, the Great Mystery is always present in everyone and everything and everywhere and all the time, and try to be in respectful relationship with everyone and everything, and what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're putting your energy and attention into. Try to be in respectful relationship and hold that as an intention. And respectful means not just trying to meet your needs, but listening to whomever you're with, the people, the situations, the earth, the ocean, the birds, the flowers. What do they need? What are their needs? And how can we find how might we explore together, opening up different levels of communication, cleansing the lens of perception in whatever ways help us to open and deepen and raise our conscious awareness. What is it I can do in being alive today to help contribute to the healing of the sacred hoop. And I think if we hold that as an intention, it's not about me, ego feeding me. It's about we. How can I contribute to you? We can contribute to creating win-win situations, because any interaction where there's a winner and a loser, everybody ultimately loses. The prayer for peace and healing in Gaza, in Israel, in Palestine. It has to be a win-win resolution that both sides feel their needs being met, finding a way to do that brings about a lasting peace when the deepest needs are met. So I think that one of the ways of protecting ourselves, you might say, is remembering our connection with the Great Spirit, and that we're always connected with everyone and everything, and opening with humility to Spirit's guidance of how can I create a response to this situation? How can I contribute to this situation that has the potential to open the doorway to bring through fullest blossoming, greatest good, win-win outcome for all involved? And I think that's, we get into trouble when our intention is to feed our ego in some way and glorify ourselves in some way. Oh, thank you. Look what happened. An angel of mercy. Andrea Pinkson just brought me some water. She must have been listening. So just little things like I didn't create this water. You didn't create this water. Great Spirit, great mystery created this water. So taking a moment before we take in a sacred substance, a sacred elixir. If we didn't have it, we'd die. Just give thanks. Thank you, creative wisdom power, rain spirits, water spirits, ocean spirits, the snow spirits, the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams. Thank you, water spirits. Holy Mother, water spirit, thank you for this water. And it's always good to take a little drop before you take for yourself. Give it back. Give it back. Took the whole universe to create this, and then drink in the sacred substance. Psychedelic. Water's psychedelic. Without water, we don't have life. So how to bring that awareness of everything sacred that we take in, and it takes the whole universe to create it. Gratitude before we take for ourselves, just to reflect on that and give thanks for those wisdom powers of creation of the universe. Oh. All right.
All right. Thank you. That was great. I love that. So maybe you could then guide us on a visualization this morning about letting go of our ego so we can connect with our real self, not our ego self. And that would also mean connecting with the sacred, because that's part of who we are and what we are. Sound good?
Sounds good to me. Okay.
Okay.
So my eyelids.
And remember, imagine where you're like telling us like we're little kids and you're like taking us into a guided visualization.
Well, first of all, I don't remember how I did it when you were little kids. That was a long time. So
your grandkids, that was more recent. You were doing a visualization with your grandkids.
Yeah. Well, visualization, it's just use the word visualize, so it connotates an image of things. So we have with our eyes open, we have information coming in through our eyes that we can see things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an image. That's a visualization. But we can also close our eyes. We can also let our eyelids close down over our eyes if we choose to do so. And breathe out. And with our eyelids closed, we don't see anymore what we could see with our eyelids open. And each of us, as a human being, has the creative power, has the power inside of us to create an image in our mind's eye, to visualize an image in our mind's eye. So, for instance, if I say the word apple, you can choose, if you want to, you can just notice that an image of an apple appears in your consciousness. It might be a green apple, it might be a red apple, it might be a big apple, it might be a small apple. Who knows, it might even be an apple seed that grows into an apple tree that produces apples, that then produces more seeds that fall to the ground, and Mother Earth takes that in, great-grandmother growth and uses that energy to create and empower new seeds to grow into apple trees and produce more apples. And so the great cycles of life continue. And we have the ability, through the power of our imagination, the power to create an image in our mind's eye of whatever we want to create. We're all artists, you might say. We're all artists equipped with creative power and a canvas in the mind, in our imagination, on the screen of our inner mind. And so noticing that we have this power of imagination. I don't have to go to art school and learn how to do it. All I have to do is think about whatever I want to think about, like that apple. And you see it. You imagine it. You can see it inside your mind's eye. So owning that power, and where does that power come from? Just reflecting on where does that creative power come from? That's an intelligence, the ability to create an image in our mind's eye. Just to think about where it comes from. And then to recognize and really acknowledge that I have the power to choose. If I'm conscious in the moment, I'm paying attention in the moment, I have the power to choose what image I want to create in my mind. I could create an image of, right now, my leg is left calf has got a wound on it, recuperating from getting some pre-cancer stuff cut off or scraped off. And it's been a month now, and the wound gradually gets smaller and smaller. And so every day I imagine, I go inside and I see an image of the wounds healing up, the cells joining together, and the skin, healthy skin, replacing it, and complete restoration of health and wellness. And so I imagine that already happening. I see it in my mind's eye. So maybe there's something in your body that you'd like to see healing. You'd like to see be restored to health and wellness. And so you can imagine in your mind's eye, wherever that place is in your body, or organ or gland or heart or circulatory system or vision or hearing or whatever it might be, you can imagine that, see an image of that place or aspect of your body, your being, and see coming into you, again, imagining with your eyes closed, feeling the energy coming in with the breath, and imagining that's coming in as light, that's coming in as love, that's coming in as strength, as creative wisdom power of the universe flowing into you and going to where it needs to go, strengthening the wisdom in all of us that knows how to heal. All of us have within us wisdom that's not in our intellect, it's not in our rational minds, it's a biological wisdom built in there through billions of years of evolution that knows how to send healing cells to the wound and slowly close it up and restore healthy skin, restore health and wellness. There's a wisdom inside of us that we didn't create, that's given by the universe, that knows how to heal. And we can strengthen that potential for healing through our imagination, through using the gift of our minds to picture an image of that healing taking place. It's already succeeded. How we feel with that success of whatever it is we're visualizing and seek and hope in our lives, and how we would feel experiencing the successful accomplishment of that wellness or that healing. Just taking the time, be consciously aware and owning the ability, the spirit-giving ability to visualize, to create an image in your mind's eye of yourself healthy, happy, prosperous, in nurturing healthy, meaningful relationships. Not just surviving in this life, but imagining, visualizing, what would it mean for you to thrive in your life? Not just survive, but thrive in your life. What would that be like? What would that feel like? What would be the constituent that contribute to that feeling of thriving in your life? Just noticing and visualizing and feeling into and sensing what that might be with the power of your imagination. And so we create that reality. We literally create that reality in the imaginative realm of our minds. And that which we create through our visualization, the power of active imagination in our mind's eye, we have the ability, working cooperatively with others, to manifest that on the physical plane if it serves fullest blossoming, greatest good, because then we've got the support of the whole universe behind us that gives us this life so we can show up and be a force for what contributes to fullest blossoming, greatest good. And this all comes back to the ability to visualize, to use the power of our focused mind to make a conscious choice of what we want to imagine and visualize on the screen, on the canvas of our inner mind. And with the breath coming into us, a fuel to breathe that fuel of life force into seeing that which we seek to have in our active imagination, which you see, to see it manifest in the physical plane in this life. It's possible. It's possible with Spirit's help, reminding ourselves that anything is possible. Let us not be the ones to use any mental thoughts that say, no, that's not possible for me, or it's not possible to have a healing of the global climate catastrophes and the social unrest and the violence. It is possible to heal all of those things. And it's possible to do so by using the power of our mind to drop deeper down into what are the root causes of the violence and the fear and the prejudice and the racism and the discrimination and the greed. What are the root causes of all of this? And how to address the needs that are trying to be met unskillfully through those ways that do bring about fullest blossoming, greatest good, for a peaceful and just and beautiful and diverse, healing, harmonious, healthy, happy, win-win world for all. So using the power of our imagination to see that, to imagine that outcome in our mind's eye, to visualize it, and to visualize it and fuel it with hope and faith, knowing it's possible, and empowering ourselves to be agents of conscious evolution, to show up, to do our part, to help bring it through for fullest blossoming, greatest good. May it be so, may it be so, may it be so. Breathing in, breathing out, just taking a moment to be with the experience of being breathed. We don't create that breath. It's flowing into us, a gift of grace from the universe. Be present to receive it, flowing through us, polishing up our stardust, and the cleansing breath out, releasing. And when you're ready, just gently opening your eyes and coming back in visual contact with the gifts of what we're able to see with our eyes open. Fullest blossoming, greatest good to you on this day and for healing of the sacred hoop. Oh.
Oh. Oh. May it truly be so, as Roger just said. Thank you. That was beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much. May we all take this good medicine out into the week and shine on, as you say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for making this possible on all the levels that you do. We wouldn't be without you and our support team behind us. So thank you.
Yep. Absolutely. Thank you, Nicole and Nusi, and all of you being here, joining us, sharing this with family and friends in the beautiful water. The water is healing, says Donna. Yes, it is. Amen. Thank you. Much love to you all. See you next Sunday. Spread the word. Tell friends and family that might enjoy being here too. We'll see you soon. Mwah. Mwah. Bye.
Adios.